Hey everyone, this is Cynthia from Including You Journals. I wanted to come on today and demystify how to make digitals for yourself. At least this is the way I do it. There are many other programs, or I don't know how many, but there are other programs out there. And excuse me, excuse me. But this is the one I use. It is just a Google Docs. And you'll need to download a Google Drive. And so you just open your Google Docs, and I think when you download Google Drive, you will simply put your email address and create some kind of a password, and then you go to Docs, D-O-C-S, which is right up here in the corner. If my camera is actually picking that up, I'm not sure. I'll check that in a minute before I actually post. But the way I do this is very simple. You can actually see some shots down here where I have been working on some things, but I open a blank, which is usually the first one on the screen, a blank document. I go to File, which is right over here, the first one, to my drop-down box. I go all the way down to the bottom to where it says Page Setup. And then I don't want any kind of borders here. Now, typically, my printer will print a blank border so that I end up with white paper around what I'm doing. I think a lot of people do that, but just so that you know, you try the best you can. All right, so I go over to margins here, and at the top, I type in 0.0, hit my tab button, 0.0, tab, 0.0, tab, 0.0. I also want to make sure that my orientation is on landscape, because if I am doing an 11.5 or an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I'm going to fold and use in a journal, I want this in landscape, and the paper size is 8.5 by 11. I don't set any color at all. I don't want to waste my ink on that. I would prefer to do some other pages. All right, so I'm going to open another screen, and I have already on my computer, excuse me for the roughness of my voice, a website called Pixabay. I'm going to move my camera just a little bit so that picks that up in the upper left-hand corner right in here. Pixabay, P-I-X-A-B-A-Y. All of the pictures here are excuse me, the camera's moving. Let me stabilize that. All of the pictures are not copyrighted. They're copyrighted free. And I click on photos. I go here and I type in, I actually don't even click on photos. Excuse me. Let's back up. Home screen. I just simply go here and type what I want to type. Let's say I want a Santa, S-A-N-T-A. I type in Santa. I don't want a picture of Santa. I want an illustration of Santa. So I went to, let's back up and do it one more time. I went to Images, down to where it says Illustrations. And now I have, it says here on my page that I have 20 pages of Santa illustrations. So I'm just going to scroll down and look at some Santas that I think I might like. Okay, and I've already seen one that I know I like, and that's this Old World Santa here. I'm going to click on him one time. I don't even have to do this, but if I want to see an enlargement of him, I can do that. This allows me to copy the image. I'm going to place my back arrow. Now, I could have done that without making him larger by just simply going to his picture and clicking on Copy Image. I go back to my Google Docs and I decide where I want him on my page. And maybe I want him up at the top of this page. And here he is. I'm going to make him a little smaller. You can tell that there are inches here and down the side, so I can see I only want him to be about 2.5 inches or 2 inches by 2.5 inches, something of that nature. And you can kind of get in your mind here at this 5.5 inch mark. Sometimes I'll simply hold up a piece of paper just so I can sort of see where it is. This would be my half a page as it prints out. This would be the other half. So possibly in this top left-hand corner, I want a picture. Well, to add another picture of Santa, I may go down here to the bottom on the right-hand page and come back over to Pixabay again and keep looking. Oh, here's a Santa. I like him. I'm going to copy the image and go back and let's see if I can place him there. Yes, I can. He's just a little too big. So all I'm doing is highlighting him, and I'm going to the bottom right-hand corner of his picture, and I'm going to take him up to about 1.5 or 2 to 2.5 inches right in there, about the same size as the Santa before. And I want him a little closer to the bottom, so I'm just going to go tap above him and hit my enter button down a little bit, and I want him to go over just a little bit. So let's see, I'm going to hit my space bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and that appears to be about where the other Santa is. Now let me show you how I can actually see that. I just came up here to the top of my screen on the left-hand side, and I hit 50%. That gives me my picture, all of my pictures, so that I can see that both of these Santas are diagonal from one another, and they're approximately the same size. They don't have to be exact, but now if I want to see my page, I have this half here and this half here. And I can do that with all kinds of things. There's one more thing I'd like to show you about. I'm going to go back up here to the zoom again and go back out to about 90%. And we'll go down to the next page in making my digital. This time, I'm going to go up here to insert. 1, 2, 3, 4 places over is the word insert. Click on that and go down to where it says, just right at the top, excuse me, drawing, and I want a new drawing. Now, this simply opens up a page for me to add a Santa and make him whatever size I want to. Again, utilizing the entire page. And I'm looking for a completed, meaning a tall Santa, one who has an entire body, possibly an old world Santa. I know they're out there somewhere. Another site that I really like to use is Graphics Fairy. Graphics Fairy has lots and lots of illustrations that are vintage style. They are free. Graphics Fairy also has some vintage pictures, or some pictures, illustrations that she charges membership for joining. The membership is very, just a small amount, not very much at all. Okay, I'm not seeing what I want, and I hate to keep making you go through. Let's just do one more page. I know there's a tall Santa in here somewhere. Oh my goodness. Well, I see a Grinch, and I'm going to go right here for this little Grinch and pull him up. Let's go back to my page. Here is this drawing that I've opened. I'm going to paste the Grinch in here, and I want him to cover a half of a sheet. Now, notice that in this little area that we're working in now, I have not 11 inches, but I'm down to just 10 inches. We will enlarge this by clicking on it and drawing from the corners in a few minutes, just like we do a picture. But I want this Grinch to cover the better portion of a page. So I'm gonna kind of center him a little bit within my 4 inches across and my just a little over 6 inches up and down. Then I'm going to come over here because I want to add some kind of fun to this side of the page. I'm going to Shapes. I'm going to click on a square. No, I'm not. I'm going to Shapes, and I'm going to click on I'm going to go down to Callouts. Shapes, Arrows, Callouts. And I'm going to click on the third star. This third star is sort of a vintage star, and I like using it in patterns. Okay, I don't want it to be black, so I'm going to go here to where there is a border color. Click on that little pencil, and I'm going to tell it transparent. And I also don't want the color to be blue. I'm going to change the color to this Grinchy green. That's a little bit too bright, so I want to darken them up some. I can customize it. Let's see if I can darken it any. Still really bright, not as chartreusey as I want. Let's see if I can find another one. Let's go into, I don't know if it'll let me do that or not. Oh, but that's getting a lot closer. So let's back him out. And there's a little dot here that's kind of showing me the color and where it's going to. So, oh, we're getting closer, about right there. And that lets me pick the color that I want. I'm simply going to, now that this star is highlighted, I'm going to click my control button and the C, which means copy. And then I'm going to click control again and the V, which is a post. And I'm just going to use my arrows to place where I want this. And I'm going to make a row of these, because I want it to be a pattern. Now let's see, did I get that one far enough out? Let's go back to this one and go over one more. Yep, that's exactly where I want it at. Okay. And I'm going to count how many places I have out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to make sure he's in the right place. Okay, good. Now you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go quickly and not talk as much. Well, I might go quickly. You can see that I'm just simply adding that little star pattern over and over again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this entire row and make another row. Okay, I don't want the Grinch. Let's go back again and try it. Just the stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks about right. 1, 2. Oop, too far. And I'm simply using my control C to copy, my control V to paste, and then I'm using my arrows to place it. And then I'm going to show you quickly how this actually ends up on a page. And while I'm doing this, excuse me again, I just want to say thank you to Nick the Booksmith. When I first began journaling, Nick the Booksmith is who I found to demystify lots of things about journaling and creating my own digital pictures. Her Franken pages, that kind of thing were great. Now you can see that drawing, so I just want to say thank you to her. Other ladies have done that very well also, but Nick really initially helped me to see some things that I could do to create my own digitals. And if you're beginning a beginning journal maker, you realize that it's very expensive to get the equipment, the tools that we need or that we might want to have, like the nice rulers that give us the tear edges and all the great things that we come up with, the crocodiles and the eyelets and, oh my goodness, the acetate and all the papers. You want old things, and so you have to kind of take your time and look around, and it just takes a while. Even finding digis to create a page takes you some time to do. Now, I know that this picture, I'm just realizing something as I'm talking. I do realize that this picture of this Grinch was on Pixabay, so I should be able to sell this. But I don't know about copywriting for the Grinch, so I'm going to double check him. I would not sell this until I double check this, just to make sure. But typically any kind of video, or excuse me, not video, but any type of illustration that I use from Pixabay, is copyright free. Same way with Graphics Fairy. All of the Graphics Fairies are. All right, so all I did was I went in here into this little box. This was my draw box, and I just tapped. So I'm gonna tap off of it, tap onto it, and I'm just gonna move my page down so I can see it. I want to make what I drew to fill my whole page. So I'm simply pulling him out a little bit, and I wouldn't want him that much of a page. He's a lot of green there. So I'm downsizing him to 50% just so we can see this whole page. Let's come up a little bit more. We'll go 75 and see what that gives us. Okay, good. That helps us see too. So what I'm looking at now is 5.5 inches to the left of me filled. That would be an entire page filled with Grinch. Okay, I kind of like that. I could see printing that out and putting that in a journal. And the other 5.5 inches would have this design. So these are simple ways that I create digitals that I use when I create Christmas digitals, or I really like the Victorian theme, so I do lots of things with Victorian ladies, and I love laces and all the fun stuff like that. So that typically happens to be some things that I would actually do. But I hope that this will give you an idea of a way that you can create your own journals. If you have questions, I will try to answer them. I am not a computer smart person. I'm not very computer literate. I've learned this in a class one time and for work, and I use Google Docs for that. And then something that Nick, the booksmith, said one day said, oh, that's what I can do to create my own digitals. And I have been trying to do this now and have been creating for about 4 years, and things that I use for myself, I enjoy them. I hope this will give you an idea of something you can do, and you can springboard from this. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everything is good where you are. I hope you got an idea. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.